Well folks, here I am again back in the kitchen. The last time I was here with you I was making my favorite venison chili, and I told you at that time that the next one I did was going to be on my snapping turtle soup. My soon to be famous snapping turtle soup. So here I am, and I'm going to go quickly through the ingredients and then we're going to put this all together. First off, you got to start off with some good snapping turtle on the bone meat. And that's what we have here. Believe it or not, that represents about $80 worth of snapping turtle meat. From there we're going to move on over. We're going to need 2 bell peppers chopped, 1 large onion chopped. Got some garlic. It was 10. You need 10 to 12 cloves of garlic minced. 2 green bell peppers chopped. You need chicken broth, about a half of a stick of butter, black pepper, oregano, thyme, crushed tomatoes, cooking sherry, at least 4 bay leaves, some kosher salt, Worcestershire sauce, a little hot sauce, bacon fat, and a lemon. That's your ingredients for this absolutely fantastic meal. Now the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to cut the meat off of the bone. You're going to need a nice sharp boning knife to carry out this mission here. One of the first things you want to make sure you do if you have your own snapping turtle meat, what you want to do is make sure that you get all of that yellow fat off of the meat, because that's what destroys the flavor and makes it bad tasting. Get rid of the fat and you'll be in good shape. So now we're just going to go ahead and start cutting this off. This beautiful pink meat. I don't know what people think when they think about snapping turtle, but you know, I hear all sorts of stories. It tastes muddy, it tastes this, it tastes that. Well, one thing for sure, it does not taste like chicken. 1 pound, this is an exotic meat, 1 pound of ground snapping turtle meat sells for $70 on the market. 70 bucks for meat. So you know that it is an exotic meat when the price of it is that high. And I've been to some very nice restaurants where they've made it. They make it a little different than what I'm doing here, but they get top dollar for that, for a bowl of soup. Let me tell you, this is not a Campbell's soup, that's for sure. It's delicious, and anyone that's ever sampled my snapping turtle soup comes back for seconds, believe me. They're absolutely shocked. They can't believe it's that tasty. If you're going to buy it, that's one thing. If you in fact decide that you were going to go catch a turtle and do the butchering and all yourself, the butchering is a little, I will eventually put out a video on how to butcher the turtle. But in reference to catching these things, I realize that they are, I guess you could call it a low animal form. They've been around since prehistoric times, and they're certainly not the brightest creatures in the world. But my theory in life is that they deserve respect. I can't, and I'm an avid trapper and hunter, and I just can't take people that put out a fish hook to catch these things. They do deserve a little more respect than that. And my suggestion is, if you're going to go for them, trap them. You know, trap them with a live trap, and be a little more humane. There's no need to really antagonize the animal. Now, as you can see, this is so simple to take off of the bone. As long as you have a sharp boning knife, you just go around and cut off this nice, wonderful meat. So I am going to go ahead and shut the camera off and finish doing this, because no one wants me to just keep on babbling for the next 15 or 20 minutes while I'm cutting this up. So I'm going to save you some ear time. Okay, I've separated the meat from the bone, and there's the wasted bones there, but they're not wasted. I'm a firm believer on passing this on. I am going to go ahead and take this out into the woods and leave it there for other creatures to come along and eat it, so none of that goes to waste. That's true of everything that I try to do. Try to use up the entire animal one way or the other. So now we'll go ahead and cut this up into pieces. I like to have my meat cut into fairly large pieces. By the way, as you're going along, you can remove some of the sinew that's in there. Whoop. There we go. I like a bite-sized piece about like that. I don't like anything too big, and I don't like anything too small, but that's a matter of preference. Some people cook it on the bone. I don't. If you cook it on the bone in a slow cooker, then once it's cooked, you can shred it off of that. But I prefer to do it all in advance, remove a lot of the tough membrane that might be on it, which isn't really, it's really not that much, to be very honest with you. I've purchased beef that had more fat and I can't think of the proper word right this minute. So here again, I'm going to go ahead and cut this up into pieces, and I'll be back. So there it is, one nice 2-pound bowl of cut snapping turtle meat. I've been asked what the snapping turtle meat smell like. To be honest with you, it smells like clean, fresh meat. There is no fishy smell, no muddy smell, no unusual smell to it. It is a nice, clean smell. And as you can see, it is a beautiful piece of meat. So now we're going to go ahead and put this in our skillet. First, I'll go ahead and turn on the heat. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter. And while that's melting, I will go ahead and add, well, I'm going to say maybe 2 tablespoons of bacon fat. We'll go ahead and heat that up and let it melt. Once that melts down, I reduce the heat and add my turtle. And we're going to go ahead and sear this. Now once you start to hear it sizzle, it's time to go ahead and add your onion. Stir it around in there. And again, I use my let the onions turn translucent theory. I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic. 10 to 12 cloves of garlic there. Stir that in. To that I'll sprinkle in some kosher salt. And I will go ahead and add black pepper. Oh, probably about 3/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And I'll stir that up and we'll cook it down. Once it starts to cook down and some of the onions start to turn translucent, I add my thyme and my oregano. I'd say it's about 5-6 minutes. You'll see that there starts to become a broth collecting in the bottom as the onions are reduced down, and that's what we're trying to do. And we'll let that cook for another 5 minutes. Well, about 5 minutes has passed and things are looking good, so I'm going to go ahead and add my pepper. Whoa, I almost dumped my pepper on the floor, didn't I? And I'm going to add my celery. Stir it up. Give it a few more minutes to absorb all the juices that are in the bottom. Looks good enough to eat right now. Okay folks, it's ready to go. So next to the crock pot. Well, the crock pot's ready. And so are the main ingredients for the soup. We're going to just dump that right in there. Oh yeah. And we'll go ahead and add our tomato juice. Or, excuse me, I don't mean tomato juice. I mean crushed tomatoes. I don't know where tomato juice came from. Add that. Now we'll add our sherry. And we'll add our chicken broth. I use low sodium chicken broth, and I'm going to bring this up relatively high because don't forget we are making a soup. I have about maybe a third of the box left. Now we're going to go add our Worcestershire sauce. Third of a cup. And a little bit of hot sauce to your liking. I'm not a real hot sauce fan, so I'm going to just add a few dashes in there, which is probably maybe a half a teaspoon. I'm going to take about a half a lemon, squeeze the fresh juice into that. Oh yeah, okay. And that's it, we're all set. So now we'll go ahead and set the heat. Hold it, I almost forgot my bay leaves. My 4 bay leaves go in there. Okay, turn her on. We're going to select program. We're going to drop it down to 1 hour. And we're going to set it on high. And then after 1 hour, I'll come back and I'll put it on for 3 hours on low. And then we're going to go ahead and taste it. It's a shame you won't be able to taste it. Only I can. Eat your heart out. The 1 hour mark has just gone by on high. So now I'm going to go ahead and program it for 3 hours at low. Be back in 3 hours. Well, folks, the alarm has just gone off. The turtle soup is done. And what's happened is the lady of the house who has been out shopping, because when you go shopping around here where we live, it's an all-day event because you have to go 50 miles to a large city to do your shopping. So she called me up and asked me if the turtle soup was done. She wasn't going to come home unless the turtle soup was done. So I told her it's ready and we'll be having soup together for supper. And all I can do at this time is sample it, and I will do that. So here it is, the 1 spoonful sample. It's delicious. What can I say? Well, anyhow, I can't wait to have a whole bowl full of this, and I'm not too sure what I'll be making next, but I'm sure I'll find some wild game that I've caught to cook up.